Hi everyone, I'm Christopher Allen from Brutus Monroe, and I'm really excited to show you my brand new products from Deco Foil and Thermoweb. So we're down here on the table, and I'm just cutting down one of my brand new designer toner sheets. And we're just cutting it down to a simple A2 size. And you can see on these transfer sheets that one side has almost like a matte glossy look, and the other side is completely glossy. So you'll always know which side to actually put your foil on because it has the matte side. So you can actually probably feel that there's a little bit of a raised section there. So now what we'll do is I'll move all of these beautiful, beautiful foils out of the way, and I will grab one out of my box. This is one of my favorites. This one is the green, and you can see it just really picks up a lot of light, and it really doesn't have a bad side to it. So we'll move this out of the way, and I'm just going to cut this piece of foil down. You can just do it on a simple paper trimmer, which is awesome. You don't need a special tool. And then we'll go ahead and we'll place it right on top. Now, I would suggest measuring, of course. The only reason that was perfect is I've done this about 1,000,000 times. So you generally want to measure. Yeah, you just want to make sure that it does grab the right measurement. So what we're doing is we're taking a piece of parchment paper. This comes in every single pack. So you get the parchment paper with the set, so you don't have to worry if you lost your parchment paper. Then you take this piece here, and again, remember, you want to make sure that the pretty side is up, and you do the same thing with the foil. It's always pretty side up. This side might look pretty to you, but I promise you this side's much prettier if you use that one. So you'll place that pretty side up, and then you're going to kind of give it a little tap, a little zhuzh, and then you put it through your laminator. You want to make sure that your laminator is, of course, heated up. That is a very, very important part of the process. If it's not heated up all the way, you can get spotting, which will happen if your laminator hasn't been on, or if you use your laminator like over and over and over again. You can find that, sometimes it's not as hot as it was originally. So while this is going through, I'm going to show you another one of my favorite products with Thermoweb, and that is the transfer gel. So everyone has about 10 million stencils, and we are always looking for new things to do with the stencils. So what you do is you take the transfer gel, you put it on a little palette knife, and you spread it onto a tag or onto a card. Oh, thank you. Onto a card or, whatever type of flat material. And you can see it has kind of a raised texture to it. And what's really cool about this is all that texture stays when you put the foil on it. So let's go ahead and we'll reveal this one first, and then we'll grab some foil for the tag. Okay, and then you'll see how beautiful it comes out every time. And I love how it's clear, which is really, really cool and very, very different. Then what I do, a trick that I always do with my designs, because you see how we have all these kind of fine pieces? What I do is I take a little bit of the purple tape, which should be in everybody's craft room, and I place it down here, and then I lift off, and you see some of those little pieces that are coming off? Those are the pieces that we don't want. Now, you don't have to do this. This is just something I do to make sure it's super crisp and super clean. And then we just run it over again, and just until we get to the bottom. And there we go. Just one more swipe. And now you have a completely clean, really, really dynamic and really, really pretty. You can use this again for a shaker. What's cool is since we have the extra space here, you can take some foam tape and you can put some foam tape on the back and just apply a sentiment. I mean, this is really all you need. I mean, this is really a showstopper. If you're using this on a card, you just need a sentiment or a quick stamp. So now let's go back to the tag, and I'm going to grab another piece of the foil. This time we'll use one of my favorites, which is the silver. It's very, very holographic. And all you have to do is once this is completely dried, 100%, you're going to go ahead and place this right into, again, your piece with the cardstock. This is important because we don't have a full edge here. And what can happen is this can go in and it can roll into the rollers. So we'll go ahead and take our piece of foil, line it up, again, pretty side up. Make sure it's all packed in, and then we run it right through the laminator.
So with the
transfer gel? Yep. Mm-hmm.
How long about to
It all depends on how thick you put it on. I've done them where I've done them with a very thin coat, and you can get it in probably like 15, 20 minutes. But if you really put a really thick coat on it, it can take up to an hour.
And
Yep.
you have to air dry it? You can't-
I always say to air dry it. You can hit it with a little bit of heat, but it can bubble because obviously, you know, it's a liquid. So what will happen is it will start to bubble in some places, or some areas will dry much quicker than others with the heat gun. So I just always say just do a whole bunch at one time and then let them sit. Yep.
That was the other question is it have it, like, do you have to do it, say, within the day, or once you do it?
Once
like,
you do it,
weeks later, you can...
weeks later you can do it. Yep.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and show you this, and this is my absolute favorite way to foil now is with the transfer gel, because it is just so incredible whenever you peel it off, because all of that dimension is still there. And again, I call this the party foil, because it literally, I mean, it looks like you're having a party whenever you're looking at the foil, because there's no bad way to look at this foil. It has so many different facets in it, and I just think it's super, super spectacular.
And the gel can go over like other mediums?
Correct, absolutely.
Like
Yep. I always say to test, because if there's a medium that has like some sort of a binder in it, what can happen is the foil can try to stick to that as well. Okay. I've tried acrylic paint and it's worked well. I've tried dye inks and it's worked well. But you just want to make sure if you're using something that has like a heavy binder in it, correct, it can stick to the foil as well. Yep. And then I have one other thing I wanted to show you, but I have to find my trip. Here we go. So one other thing that's super, super cool that you can do with your leftover pieces. So here's a leftover piece that we have. So this foil is not completely used. If you do not have a clear sheet, you still have plenty of foil that you can use. Until this is completely clear, you want to keep using it. So what I do is I take some of the toner sheets. So this is just basically the same principle. It just has toner all over it. So what you'll do is you'll go ahead and cut down a piece, and I'm not going to wing this one. So you'll cut down a piece that is the size of your actual piece here. And you can cut a little bit of the foil too, it's not going to make a big difference. And then we'll cut here as well, and then we know that this is the perfect size. And then what we do is we take this, again, since this is a little bit thinner, we want to use the cardstock. You don't want to use the cardstock if it's just like a straight up big piece of the backers, because it's going to not give it as much heat. And then we run this through. It's very important to make sure that you have the parchment paper in between the layers, because if any of this toner were to seep out from underneath of it, it's going to stick to any cardstock, and it's a nightmare to try to pull it off. So the parchment paper is very, very important, which is why we give you a piece of parchment paper in every single pack of the sheets that you receive. Now while that's coming out, I'm going to grab another piece of foil. And I've been drawn to the silver for some reason at this show.
Well, it pops really.
Yes, it's very, very, very pretty. And then what we do is we lift this off, and this is super, super fun, because what happens is when we lift this, it's actually sticking what we have left. So we have what's left on this toner piece, and then this would be considered a piece of foil that's done. Whenever it's completely clear, you can go ahead and throw it away. But the really, really cool thing happens when we put another piece of foil on top of this, because anywhere that you see the black, that's still foilable. You can still do something with that. So let's go ahead and just grab this piece of foil, and we'll just cut it down ever so quickly. This one won't matter because it doesn't have to be the exact size. And then we'll grab, again, our sandwich, which is the parchment paper, the cardstock, and our piece. We toss that in, and then we run it through the laminator. And this is the hardest part, is waiting for it to come through and seeing what it looks like whenever it is all done and complete. Does anybody have any questions while this is going through?
Could you do a third layer?
You can. So if you have another pattern piece, so that's a fantastic question. So say that I were to take this piece and put it on top of there, then we would have additional open spaces. And I've seen where folks will actually take a whole bunch of these pieces, lay them all over it, and then do like 12 colors. And it's absolutely spectacular. So never ever throw away these little pieces until they're, completely gone. Is it good? Perfect, thank you. And then once we pull this one out, this is the grand reveal, you'll see that we now have 2 different colors of foil. And I mean, if this doesn't say party, I don't know what does. If this doesn't say happy birthday or celebration, I don't know what I can help you with, because this is so bright and so pretty. And one last thing that I will share with you is something that I think is really spectacular, which is using the Deco Foil without any heat at all. That's a huge question that we get asked very often. How do I use it if I don't have a laminator? Or what if I have a laminator that's really old that doesn't get hot enough? What do I do then? Well, I would say go look for a new laminator, but there's other options of what you can do. I'll take a piece of my transfer here, and I'll just use the other side to demo. I'm going to take one of Gina K's tape runners, and I really love this one because it actually does like a really cool pattern dot as opposed to just a regular dot. And I'll just run just a careful little line right there. Super easy. And this is where you can use up a lot of your scraps as well. All I do is place this down. All I do is burnish it one quick time and then lift. And then you have almost like a textured ribbon, it looks like. And this is what I use a lot for if you have a card that you're like, oh, it just needs something, just something little. And you can do this on top of ribbon. You can do this on top of, I mean, I put it on top of wood, on top of metal. I mean, anything that it will stick to, you can foil, which is really cool.
Do you want to look at any of those sheets? Can you just show us these sheets?
These ones?
Yeah.
The second set.
The second set.
The second set, yep. Oh, this set or this set? This set? Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the original ones, and these ones are the ones that have the pattern to them. So this one is Sunrise, then we have Dry Brush, and then Tide Pull. So these 3 have like a real dynamic pattern on them. It almost looks like they're printed on. And then this one here is actually like an oil slick. It looks like a Tide Pull. It's really fun and really cool. So thank you so much for stopping by. Have a great day.